Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hello, Gelato. Welcome back to another live. I'm George, the Disney Italiano, your host with the most. Haven't done a live in a little bit, so I thought, you know what? I think today would be a good day, and I see we already got some people in the chat. We have Matthew Murr all the way from the UK. We have Jacob Weller. We have, let's see, Lucas and Disney. We have SD Drawings. Welcome in. And we also have David. Hey, George, would you like to have Bricky on Hollow Gelato? Absolutely. Bricky's a good friend, and he's always welcome on the channel whenever he has time in his busy schedule to join for sure. Also, Mademoiselle in the house, welcome in. Before we, get on with, any like questions, topics, conversations, there was a few, uh, there were a few announcements that I did want to make on, not really announcements, but just like things that are just going on that was released. So today, unfortunately, the world lost Dr. Jane Goodall, who was a primatologist, and worked on a lot of conservations in with animals and primates and chimpanzees and everything. She also did a lot with Disney with the conservation funds and a lot of things that had conception with Animal Kingdom. They looked to her for inspiration of how to approach and better take care of the animals and what have you. And she was 91 years young, and she will be missed. Also, too, Disney legend Julie Andrews just recently turned 90 years young, so we wish her a very happy birthday. She really is practically perfect in every way, as her Mary Poppins counterpart. And yeah, so there was that, and then also too another birthday at the time of this live, October 1st. Walt Disney World turned 54. Walt Disney World, alongside with Magic Kingdom, and Epcot's birthday is today as well, but it's 43 years old because it came out 11 years later. So, yep, just wanted to just do a little bit of mousekeeping before we get into it. And let's see, we got Giant Peter in the Giant Peter Adventures in the house. I see George went to the future and bought Portos from downtown Disney. Yeah, I mean, I went far into the future, if that's what it feels like for how long it's going to take to get Portos in downtown Disney. And then he says, yeah, happy birthday to Epcot. Absolutely. I think it's so funny that it's Walt Disney World's birthday, which essentially is Magic Kingdom's birthday. It kind of shares it's, there are several resort hotels that share the same birthday. And then Epcot, opened the same day, share the same birthday, but different decade. I think that's wild. Let's see. Johnny A says, Giant Peter, go pick up George. His bags are packed. Yeah, it's funny, Johnny. Like that's what I told Peter. I'm like, yep, whenever he's ready, I'll jump in a suitcase. I could squeeze my ass in a suitcase and just put me under the plane. I'll be good. Let's see. George, are your bags packed for the Frozen adventure? Hey, I'm telling you, whenever you're ready, man, you let me know. Hey, welcome in, Jacob. Yeah, so I thought, to just kind of catch up with you guys, see how you're all doing. It's been a while since I've done lives like through the multi-stream, like with Orange Grove 55 and Jared from Capture the Magic. But, I just thought of doing like a little solo live, as I usually do around, this time of day. Nothing much, Jacob. How's everything with you? Just kind of going with the flow. Of course, the first day of October, we're definitely in the Halloween season now. So, I mean, even though the Halloween season technically started in August, which still like blows my mind. And we actually already, Abby and I did Oogie Boogie Bash. So, I mean, and there's no more tickets available for that. So it's like we can't even enjoy Oogie Boogie during the actual Halloween season because we did it on August 9th because that was really the only day that we could have gotten something thus far. But, we can't even look in to see, hey, you want to do it again? But There's always HHN, but Abby doesn't really go for the scare factor. She loves Oogie Boogie, but she's a great sport at still going to HHN and Fright Fest and Not Scary Farm and all that good stuff. Let's see. We got Brian in the house. Welcome in. Hollow Gelato with the new name. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Loved playing Halo. So Halo is like for the video game. So Hollow Gelato is actually two desserts that we kind of combine together for both culture of me with Italian and Abby for Filipino. Halo halo, meaning a mixed blend of multiple things to make a dessert. And of course, gelato is Italian ice cream. Speaking of which, too, speaking of Italian and the month of October, starting today is Italian Heritage Month, which is very, near and dear to me with being an Italian American. Starting between the years of 1880 to 1920, over 4 million Italian immigrants came over to America to start a better life and populate and everything. So just a little fun fact: October 1st starts the Italian Heritage Month. Let's see, Jacob Weller, doing any more giveaways or trying some pumpkin drinks? Glad you brought that up, Jacob. Yes, we will be going to Disneyland on the 6th, and I will be trying a lot of pumpkin and pumpkin spice treats and snacks and beverages and all that, and that will be as a vlog. With the giveaways, yes, I am definitely doing more giveaways, and just so you know, for you and Peter, I am going to still send out those sunglasses to you both. It's been very hectic, very crazy, but we will definitely get those out to you. But speaking of any more giveaways, I'm going to try to figure out what context to do the giveaway. But the prize is, and I have 3 of these, by the way, and they're sealed, as you can see. It's a Universal Fan Fest Nights mug, so it's very, it's front and back, but very psychedelic. Yeah, as I said, they're completely sealed and everything, never touched, never used. I have 3 of these, so we're going to use 3 of them as the giveaway. And we were given those at the LA Comic-Con when we attended the Universal panel. So it was kind of like a little fun kind of giveaway thing that they did for the upcoming Universal Fan Fest nights that they'll be having in 2026. Let's see. It's been a few days since the event. Can you agree that LA Comic-Con has an identity crisis? Just from watching your walkthroughs, it was all over the place. Yes, it was fun. I enjoyed myself. Don't get me wrong. But it definitely has an identity crisis of like what it really represents. A lot of the panels utilize movies and comic books to kind of like feel out their own agenda sort of thing. It's not really like where you have like the celebrities and, it's a big panel event kind of thing. Now they did have like autograph signings down below the lower level. They had Vincent D'Onofrio and the rest of the cast from Daredevil. Bryce Dallas Howard was there. So there was a lot of Allison Stoner from Phineas and Ferb. So there was a lot of like celebrities that were doing signings, but it wasn't like what I thought a Comic-Con would be. But Abby did tell me that, the San Diego Comic-Con is a much different beast than what LA is. See, Matthew, I've gotten into the habit of writing questions more like huge essays. Hey, you know what? Nothing wrong with that. I'm a writer at heart. So usually like when I want to give something in explicit detail, I usually do that too, Matthew. So you're not alone, which I will be getting to your question. Don't worry. I do have it here. Let's see. Abby at HHN is like putting OG on coasters. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a good analogy. Mr. Tech Bear, welcome in. So glad to see you. See, good stuff. Keep up the good work. Now I want to try a hollow dessert. Yeah, it is really good, actually. There's different like concoctions, so to speak, that you can kind of use, like fruit and 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 sweets and all that, and kind of like mesh it together to make your own kind of like personal custom dessert, which is hollow hollow. Let's see, George with the Italian history lesson, of course. Yeah, I guess that's what you really could say. It's Italian Heritage Month, but it's really George Month. This is the month of me, you know. Let's see. No, I wanted to use the Italiano one. Well, I'll tell you, I'll tell you what, Peter. I assume you're referring to the mugs. I tell you what, I'll use one, and I won't even run it through the dishwasher or the sink or anything, and I'll just send it out to you with coffee stains or juice stains already in there, and it's like you'll have the full Italiano effect. I love that. Hey, Phineas, what you doing? I actually loved Phineas and Ferb. It was one of those shows where it was in an era of animation, and it technically kind of still is, where a lot of animated TV shows today are just not that good. Um, but Phineas and Ferb was and still is a very good show. Um, writing wise, animation wise, and honestly, the other one that I enjoyed was Gravity Falls. I think that was another decent animated show as well. Let's see. Understandable. Take your time. Very shiny cups. Yes, they are actually very yeah, very psychedelic, very shiny. And it says Universal Fan Fest on it. Yeah, so we have three of those. So we will be doing giveaways. As I said, I just have to try to figure out like in what context that I want to do that with. Let's see. Big City Greens on Disney Channel had a few good seasons, but kind of went a bit downhill. I heard that it was very popular when it first came out. I've never personally watched it, but I do see how it kind of has like that Gravity Falls, Phineas and Ferb kind of style. But yeah, I haven't heard anything on it, recently. Oh, I forgot about fish hooks. I forgot about fish hooks. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that was like Disney's like attempt to try to like answer to SpongeBob, but I mean it just didn't pick up. Who would have thought a little sponge wearing square pants would literally still be a cultural phenomenon to this day? That's very surprising. Okay, so since the chat kind of slowed down a bit, and then I will catch up if you guys write anything in. I'm going to get to Matthew's question here. Let me see. I know I started. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's see. Sorry, Matthew. Let me see. Brian, in what order are you most excited for with these three movies? Tron, Ares, Zootopia 2, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Hmm. Okay, I already know that Tron is number three for me. I am interested in it, but compared to the other two, um, I mean, Avatar: Fire and Ash is pretty much a given. Like, I'm gonna go see that anyway. Zootopia 2, I'm like really like interested in because I loved seeing the first Zootopia, and it I ended up seeing it on the Disney cruise ship. That's where it was like premiered for me. Um, and I absolutely loved it. I was waiting for a sequel to come out shortly after, so this was a lot of anticipation. So I guess for me, Brian, Zootopia 2, Avatar: Fire and Ash, and then Tron Ares. Yeah, which as of today, James Cameron confirmed Avatar: Fire and Ash is going to be about a 3-hour movie, which that's pretty much a give and take. We were expecting that. I just think with every Avatar movie, it's going to go up an hour. Avatar 4 will be 4 hours. Avatar 5 will be 5 hours. And then for Zootopia 2, they just recently released the final trailer, which I don't really need any more trailers. I kind of have like a gist of what's going on, but I just want to just see the movie. I'm like so hyped up for it. Okay, so sorry, Matthew. I do apologize. So getting back. Okay, so I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna try to shorthand this because as Matthew said, he did write like several paragraphs on it because he just wanted to kind of explain to me like what it is. So I'm going to try to shorthand this. So let's see. One critique of Once Upon a Studio I wish I'd elaborate more on a while back is the absence of major, long-serving voice actors for certain major characters. It all went good with Jeremy Irons, Paige O'Hara, John C. Reilly, but I think it's a bit of a double standard since a number of actors were absent, like Corey Burton, Christopher Daniel Barnes, who does the voice of Prince Charming and Prince Eric, Catherine Von Teal, who does the current voice of Snow White, and Blaine Weaver as the current Peter Pan. I say the above because I feared when doing 2.0 that going with fewer sound-alikes for those headliners was a huge risk in the face of a massive occasion, especially if the longer-serving sound-alikes had still nailed the sound of their characters by 2022. Let's see. Let's see. It could be a potential distraction for the quality of the short. I guess that mindset really shows the extent of my brutal perfection when doing 2.0, which Matthew did his version of Once Upon a Studio. The risk of casting, along with bringing back Tony Goldwyn, Minnie Driver, Zachary Levi, Tamora Morrison, Ernie Sabella. But I think that the one counter argument you could make against all or nothing approach to the casting is that it always worth the risk to recruit newer actors. No matter how big or grand the occasion might appear, and that no recast, whatever the circumstance should be reconsidered life or death. So what do you think of that unconventional analysis of the casting of the short? So basically, he just kind of gave like his interpretation of like his version with 2.0 and how he would approach it. And more so the question is, after that analysis, what do I think on it? So my thing is with Once Upon a Studio, I think it was a very daunting task to be able to try to fit as many Disney characters in this very short subject material as they possibly could. I'm for sure they probably went through the list of, potential people that they would get to reprise their role. It could have been a scheduling issue. It could have been if they were available, if they even wanted to do it. It's really hard to say because we're just going by of what the finished product is. However, going by your 2.0 analysis of like what you would create, I think honestly it's really of how one perceives of how they would want to see it. Like if they can go back and remake Once Upon a Studio, which Disney characters would you want to see kind of have a little bit more of a bigger presence? Therefore, whatever said character is, that would determine if like which character actor you would bring back to reprise their voice role. So I honestly say, Matthew, I think, you come up with really great points. I mean, I love your passion for it. This is something that really like makes you like drive to try to, come up with your own thoughts and everything. And I say kudos to you. So to kind of cap it all off of what you were mentioning, I think if that's what like suits you of what you think would be the better thing to do of like which characters and kind of like maneuvering as, and also too like as you were mentioning like with the double-edged sword kind of thing, again I think it's just more so that there could have been a lot of scheduling issues between the actors. That's my take on it. Remy D, hey George, welcome in. Remy D, so glad to see you. Welcome in. And Brian says, good choices. I'm assuming like my list, my top three. Let's see, SD Drawings. My list is Zootopia 2, Fire and Ash, and Tron. Yeah, SD Drawings, like I'm the same as you. Like I think we can kind of already understand that like Avatar is just this massive franchise that it's going to do well no matter what. And I am very excited about it. I can't wait to see it. The trailer looks very interesting. I want to know more about the like the fire the fire people and everything, or the fire Navi, and see like how this story continues. But Zootopia 2, like, I don't know, it's just something about it that I fell in love with the first Zootopia, and it's like I wanted to see where this story continues, and they really have a great kind of like mystery of like why Zootopia doesn't accept reptiles, and like who is like this main hooded figure, the villain, and what have you. So I can't wait for it. I really can't. Let's see. Did you see that post Bette Midler post on Instagram today? No, I didn't. Peter, can you elaborate of what that is? Let's see. Let's see. Where am I here? Let's see. I think I missed a few here. It has a decent story. It was a farm family going to the big city to live with their grandma. The mom joined the storyline a bit later, and also there is a rich friend. Oh, okay, with a big city greens. Okay. Let's see. What's with Fire and Ash new trailer being so uproaring? I got chill on my spine. Yeah, like it is. Like, I think the trailer for Fire and Ash is like, it's not subtle. It's like, it's really like intense, where you're like, whoa, like if this is what we're getting in the trailer, like what are we going to get for the 3 hours of the film? I see. Giant Peter Adventures. I listened to the new Shakira song from Zootopia. It sounds awesome. Also a bit like a sequel to her Waka Waka Africa song. Yeah, I heard pieces of it. I didn't get to actually hear the whole thing, but I definitely want to check that out. Let's see. Let's see here. Brian says, to double click on your answer, what do you need to see from Avatar Fire and Ash to win over Zootopia or Tron to move up to the list? Thanks. Well, as I said, Avatar definitely won over Tron regardless. I am curious to see Tron. I am going to go see Tron. We're going to see it on October 9th. But as far as it going above Zootopia, I think as of right now, until I actually see both films, if Zootopia 2 falls flat for me, which I don't think it will, I seriously highly doubt it. But in the unlikely case, it's not as good as the first, and it doesn't match up to the trailers, then I'm for sure Fire and Ash would be well above Zootopia 2. As I said, them two are like a close kind of like for first place. There's really like a hairline fraction between the two of them. I'm just more so curious about the storyline with Zootopia 2 over Avatar, just a tiny bit more. But I'm going to see both in theaters regardless. Let's see, Matthew Murray. Yeah, I think the scheduling was probably the ultimate factor as to which veteran VAs were able to reprise their roles as major characters and which ones needed recasting. And it was probably a bit of the no-win situation. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with you. Lucas and Disney. So a couple of people on X still feel that removing Disney Quest was a big mistake. If they want to bring it again, what do you want to see come back? Yeah, I honestly think it was a mistake them getting rid of Disney Quest and putting ESPN, which is no longer even there anyway. I do feel like Disney Quest was outdated for its time. It definitely was like 90s feel. So if they were to bring it back, I just say honestly update it with more futuristic factors. Maybe they can incorporate a lot more of the epic games that they're going to have in the future that's tied to Disney, and kind of do a lot of maybe like VR kind of stuff. And I think that would fit really well in with Disney Springs, because it's something that I feel like doesn't need to be in a theme park, but it's cool to have in like downtown Disney Springs kind of thing, to give like extra activities, for the kids and the teens to experience. Let's see. Their character relationships and world building in Zootopia is amazing, but same with Avatar. I'm excited for both too. Yeah, as I said, Brian, it's like it's a close-knit race between them two. Let's see, Remy D. Do you know how all the construction videos are possible over Disney World? I thought Disney World is a no drone zone. I can see why it's possible with Epic, but you'd have to fly deep into Disney. Um, that's a good question, Remy D. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is a no drone zone, but I don't know if they have some sort of legal agreement with certain people. If Disney ends up doing that, and I know BioReconstruct, he's a master when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'm for sure he knows a way how to kind of like get in there and finagle it for sure. Let's see here. The thing about Fire and Ash, it will surpass Avengers Endgame and possibly first one for box office with the direction it's going. It'll probably be the best Avatar storytelling Cameron will do. I will say, as of right now, like, because obviously we don't know what Avatar 4 and 5 is going to bring. Just based off of the trailer, I would agree with you. I think Fire and Ash will surpass the other two because honestly, I feel like that's how Cameron does. He always likes to outdo himself from the last time. So when I saw Way of Water, which I am going to go see that again in theaters in 3D, we're going on the 3rd. It was better than the first movie. Like when I saw the first Avatar, it was like sensory overload of what I was seeing. Then I saw Way of Water. It was better than the first one, and now I think Fire and Ash is going to be better than the previous two, especially like the just the presence of this like threat with the fire Navi and everything. It's going to have us on the edge of our seats. I can't wait for it. And as far as it surpassing Avengers Game, it wouldn't surprise me. I do wonder if there is really going to be a time where one of these Avatar films is going to be the first $1 billion domestic film, because we have not yet received a $1 billion film just within the domestic box office. We've come very close, but just not there yet. Let's see. I keep thinking of Pokemon when I hear Fire and Ash. Is it a movie about Charizard? Yeah, that's very true. Fire and Ash. That's funny. Yeah, it kind of sounds like a You're right, Remedy. It kind of like gives off like the Pokemon Game Boy Advance games, like how they used to have Crystal and Gold and Red and all that. So like Fire and Ash. Like I think it's funny. Let's see. Also, fun fact: Jared Leto told his coworkers during filming to never call him Jared or Jared Leto, but call him Aries, and gets upset if they don't refer him as Aries. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So I guess he wanted to kind of stay in the character role, I guess. I see. Peter says, "I miss ESPN Zone." Hey, I mean, it is. You know, to one's own. I guess I wasn't a fan of it, but that's what it was. Yeah, thank you, Lucas. It was the NBA experience. Yeah, that thing was like, yeah, I don't know. and Iger was all into that because he literally went down for the grand opening for that. I mean, that's something that he would never do with anything else. Let's see. BioReconstruct on Twitter actually flies a plane over Walt Disney World. Okay. Thank you for confirming that, Brian. So, yeah, as I said, they kind of know like their way of how like they can maneuver. Maybe it's if you're so many feet up, and if you have like the proper camera equipment to kind of zoom in. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. He has special permit to go over since Walt Disney World has a no flies. Okay, yeah. So yeah. I was going to say, I think he has like some sort of like connection and kind of like a freebie, if you will. Yeah, I didn't know that either, Remy. Let's see. Peter Venture. Let's see. That one fire avatar Pandorian though. That's based based on your Emojis. Peter, I'm assuming you're getting a little bit of the feels. You want to connect your Navi ponytails together. Oh, let's see. Jared Bush said he will reveal Nick Wilde's home for the first time that was deleted from the first Zootopia since he never filed taxes and hustled. What's your assumption on his house? Um, so I guess no, they didn't showcase his house yet. Correct. I did hear about it, but I don't think they actually showed it yet. I don't really know. I wonder if it's going to be like a. Here's the thing: you would think with Nick Wilde being on the run and everything that it would be like a rundown kind of apartment kind of thing. But now I'm wondering, like, since he was a hustler and he took people for their money, and as you said, he didn't pay like the taxes and everything. Still makes me wonder, like, if it's like this grandiose kind of like mansion kind of thing where Judy just gets uh, off put by it, like she wasn't expecting it or something. Um, but yeah, that's really cool. Like they're going a little bit more deeper into the character arc. So I'm definitely all for it. See, does Secret Wars or Doomsday surpass Endgame or some of the avatars? Ooh, very good question. Back in the early days of Marvel, I would say yes. Um, now it's I think it would level up to Endgame. I don't know if it would pass it, and I really don't think it would pass Avatar, unless you hit that lightning in a bottle and it literally becomes like one of the greatest Marvel movies ever. And maybe if not Doomsday, possibly Secret Wars. Um, but what's funny is, and I'm going to do a video on this like separately where it mentions it, but I think it's funny that the Marvel movie that was in between Doomsday and Secret Wars was removed, and The Simpsons took that slot for the sequel. Now, again, was this something that Disney didn't really have faith with the Marvel movie that they're trying to kind of space out, or was this a Simpsons thing? I possibly think it could be a Simpsons thing because it's almost 20 years to the day um, that the first Simpsons was released in theaters when this sequel comes out. And in season 19, episode 1 of The Simpsons, the first episode back after the movie, in the opening scene where Bart is in the classroom writing on the chalkboard, he was writing, "I will not be in another movie or something like that for another 20 years." So to kind of make it be where that was the hint, that was the Easter egg, the Simpsons know everything moving into the future, that they kind of wanted to time it to the 20 years. And the fact that a Marvel movie got kicked off of that because of that notion, that's telling a lot of, whether or not that it was going to be a strong movie. I think a lot of people were saying it was going to possibly be Doctor Strange 3, Scarlet Witch, Shang-Chi 2. We're still waiting on that one. But yeah, they just kind of bypassed it, cut it off, and we're literally just going to go from Doomsday to Secret Wars, which in a way I can kind of get it, because as I always say, sometimes too much is too much. And I don't want to get too lost down the Marvel rabbit hole where I'm getting all these extra stories and then I forget kind of like what's going on. I would rather watch Doomsday, get the cliffhanger, and then move into Secret Wars. That's what I would be. And then after Secret Wars, then you can kind of do what what they plan on doing with that. Let's see. SD Drawing says, I'm worried about Gatos being released the same day as Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Oh, for Gato. Yeah, that's the new. Yeah, see, I don't know. I think I agree with you. I think even though Gato may be a great movie, which I hope it is, I love original stories and everything, but you're going to put it up against an animated film franchise that has already now surpassed popularity. Everybody's going to go see it. I don't know if that would be a great idea to put it up against Spider Verse. I really don't. I would have picked a separate timing for it, and who knows? Maybe when it gets a little bit closer, they may adjust that. But I definitely agree with you. They really should. Let's see. Michelle Rodriguez, who played as Trudy in Avatar, declined her offer to return as a resurrected character because she got tired of coming back from the dead due to Resident Evil and Fast movie. Let's see. Where's the part two? Oh, here we go. If she was watching your stream, would you convince her to come back to the Avatar franchise? Yeah, I think honestly I would. I mean, Michelle Rodriguez is a badass no matter what she does. I love how she has this persona of being a like her characters of a very strong independent woman where she could have class. You know, she could wear a dress, she could wear high heels, she could wear makeup and jewelry and everything, but at the same time she can kick your ass. Like I love that about her, and that's where like when you see her in the first Avatar and you see her in the Fast and Furious films, like that's what she gives, and I love that. She kind of reminds me of like how Linda Hamilton was uh, in the Terminator movies, especially Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which honestly is one of the greatest movies ever. It's my favorite movie in the Terminator franchise. Uh, but kind of has like that kind of like that girliness to her, but really can like pack a punch. Let's see. She gives Natiri, Kate Winslet, Avatar, and that character's daughter a run for their money. Okay. I think you pretty much have your mind set up there, Peter. See, Lucas says NBA experience was originally big contract deal that was supposed to happen with LeBron James that fell apart after he left Miami Heats. Yeah, I could see that. I don't really follow like sports like in that way. Like I do follow like my personal favorite team. Obviously, that's like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and which is a football team. The Pittsburgh Pirates, which is the baseball team, and the Pittsburgh Penguins of the hockey team. As far as basketball goes, like I was always like, even though I haven't lived out here, you know, my whole life, but I've always been a Lakers fan. So yeah, so we'll have to just kind of take it for what it is, I guess. But I don't think like having it as an experience, like in Disney Springs, it was like, you know. See, Remy D says, did you hear about J.K. Rowling fighting back on Emma Watson, calls her spoiled? I did not hear that, Remy D, but I did hear Emma's comments about J.K. Rowling where she doesn't agree with her outlook and everything, but like, you know, it is what it is and everything. So, okay, I guess then J.K. is like retaliating back. So now that begs the question that if J.K. Rowling has a lot of say-so in these Harry Potter projects, you know, proclaiming to with Universal, there are a lot of Harry Potter attractions out there right now that have not just these characters, but these actors who are portraying them from the films. So even though the films aren't going on right now because they're finished and there's going to be a new series coming out with a whole new cast, it seemed like J.K. Rowling had some beef with Daniel Radcliffe. Now she's having it with Emma Watson. Could she potentially, because Universal doesn't own the full rights to Harry Potter, and she's a stickler when it comes to, I wonder if there will ever be a time where if she goes to Universal and says, hey, I don't want them in it anymore, does that beg the question that Universal would have to then change it to possibly the cast from the new series? Or I still think, honestly, like a lot of people have been saying, I wish Universal would get into that bid with buying Warner. Because I think if they ended up buying Warner Brothers, they wouldn't have to go through J.K. Rowling. They could just, they own the rights to Harry Potter. And a plethora of other characters and IP and shows and movies in that catalog. Like, I think Universal should get on that bidding train with Netflix and Paramount. Who knows? Maybe they may sneak attack. Who knows? And bid in there last minute. Let's see. Watch Nick Wilde's house be Fred's mansion from Big Hero 6. That'd be funny. Talk about a cameo. Let's see. J.K. Rowling can cry all she wants. She forgets actors and consumers got her out from being homeless. I mean, the thing with me is everyone is entitled to, their thoughts, their opinions on any side of the spectrum. But here's the thing: when you take it to social media, and social media is already a poison camp as it is, you're throwing fuel into the fire where it's. I just wish that everybody on all sides can just agree to disagree, still work in a proper environment, still be friends, and at the end of the day, split a cannoli. That's what I say. Let's see, Brian. Do you know when the Universal Orlando Simpsons contract ends? Now that Simpsons 2 movie is coming out, do you think Disney could do some Simpsons in Hollywood studios, for example? Great question, Brian. Yeah, I think, as I said, I mean, I'm going to do like a separate, I'm actually going to do 2 videos on this because I'm going to incorporate The Simpsons in like the roster of movies that are coming out. That's going to be one video. And then I'm just going to do a whole Simpsons video by itself. So definitely keep an eye out for those. But to answer your question now on the live, the Simpsons contract with Universal, I believe, ends sometime next year in 2026. And if the movie is coming out in 2027, I mean, it's a possibility Disney may want to get, something in the parks depending. Now, I also think too, depending on how well the film does, because the series is the series. It's the number one primetime show. It's never been beaten. It'll always feel like that way. But when they produce a movie that is fresh and new, but it's still coming off the show, I think they want to see the numbers of how relevant people would actually go to a movie theater to see The Simpsons. Now, the first movie did awesome at the box office, but now we'll have to wait and see how the sequel does. I think, honestly, if Disney does put something in the parks, it would definitely be, I think, as your example, Brian, would be Hollywood Studios. I think that would be the only appropriate matter to put that in. And honestly, I say don't even put in another Springfield. We see how that doesn't work at Universal. Just do one individual Simpsons attraction. And if they wanted to do something, they got rid of My Great Movie Ride. They were supposed to have the Great Muppet Movie Ride. Never got. Do the Great Simpsons Movie Ride. Where literally you take the Simpsons characters and you put them in all these different scenes of different movies. You could just keep it Disney base, or you could actually have where they are in other movies, that they may have license to. Because, I mean, The Simpsons is already kind of meta in that sense where, they utilize them like for the promotions of Disney Plus, where they incorporate like where Homer is dressed as Darth Vader, or Bart Simpson is wearing Mickey ears, and Lisa goes into Moe's Tavern, and you see the villains, the Disney villains there. So I mean, they can do a whole lot. I would be okay with that. It would fit very well in Hollywood studios. You bring back an interpretation of the Great Movie Ride, which I don't even know why that they removed it in the first place. I mean, I do know why, but I'm not happy with it. And you could have something of The Simpsons. So it's like a win-win-win for all, as long as it's done with taste. And again, I don't want to have to see like a recreation of Springfield. It just doesn't work in the theme park environment. But very great question, Brian. Thank you so much. And Giant Peter Adventures Simpsons Marvel movie confirmed. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's it's an alternate universe through the multiverse that Marvel meets up with the Simpsons. That would be interesting. Disney needs to rename Secret Wars. It keeps reminding me of the worst MCU show out there, Secret Invasion. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Just out of curiosity, Remedy, if you had to name it something, what would you name it? Because technically what they did was Secret Wars. It's like you have the Secret for Secret Invasion, and then you have Wars, and it's like kind of going off of like Star Wars or something. But if you had to come up with something at the top of your head, what would you name Secret Wars? I do love Doomsday. Doomsday, I love that name. And Lucas says, Doomsday won't be surpassing Avatar or Endgame, sadly. Maybe Secret Wars might have a chance, but Secret Wars has to be final arc of MCU. Yeah, and I feel like with Secret Wars, because if you guys remember, when they were promoting Deadpool and Wolverine, they did like a commercial, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, about silencing your cell phones, and you watch the preview. Well, while they were talking amongst each other, that Deadpool said, "Can you believe that that they're finally going to show up in Secret Wars?" And he was going to mention who they were, and then the phone went off. So I'm very curious to see like what is of Secret Wars, and I feel like Doomsday is setting up that that storyline. Me personally, I would have reversed it. I would have called the first part of the movie Secret Wars, and I would have called like the final movie, as Lucas, you were saying, like the final arc. That one I would have called Doomsday. But, it is what it is. Let's see. Final arc of MCU if you want to surpass Endgame. Yeah. It's funny because it just feels like if they go down this route again, it feels like it's putting Endgame like in vain, so to speak. Because it's like that felt like the epic conclusion, and it just feels like that nothing else is hitting those original like Marvel movies. So it feels like they need to go back, but it feels like it's going to taint Endgame, sort of like with the Toy Story franchise. We got that disastrous Toy Story 4. We're about to get Toy Story 5. I'm a little bit curious about it, but and then they said that there's going to be more story with Toy Story, the Toy Story franchise, where basically all the other toys are getting their own individual movies. I'm just like, come on, like, do we really need all that? Like, Toy Story 3 like ended at like a perfect note. I don't know. That's just me, but let me know what you guys think. Let's see. By the way, Jared Bush said there's a lot of Easter eggs for upcoming Disney movie projects in Zootopia 2. He says people. Okay, he asked people to find it. Okay, so that's interesting. So probably maybe they'll have something in there for Hexed, because Hexed will be coming out for Disney. I really wish, because they had the Easter egg for Gigantic in the first Zootopia, and at the time, Gigantic was still going forth, and it got shelved and everything. So I hope they come back with a rendition of Gigantic, which is basically Disney's version of Jack and the Beanstalk. That'd be really cool. See, people thinks it was Blade. Okay, all right. Let's see, and then Michelle Rodriguez was also badass in Resident Evil. Absolutely. Let's see. My theory of movies making less money than before the pandemic. There is a fatigue, yes, but many people nowadays have a subscription that allows them to see free movies. These don't count as full tickets. That is very true. And honestly, as much as we can blame, the pandemic and everything, that does, fall in line of it. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Remy D, where people pay multiple subscriptions a month to get free movies, and they're like, well, why should I have to pay extra, even more money on top of it to go see it one time when I could just wait patiently and have it be part of the subscription that I'm paying for a month? And I think that's really hurting the box office. That's hurting movie theater chains. I completely agree with you. And we got Jason Hill in the house. Welcome in, Jason. So glad to see you. Should we watch Tron Legacy again to prepare for Tron Ares, or can we skip it? It's been 15 years since I've seen it again. Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. It's been a while since I've watched the first Tron and Tron Legacy. I actually was tempted to get tickets for the El Capitan, because I think through D23, they're doing a triple feature where they're playing the first Tron Legacy, and then Tron Ares. But I didn't end up going that route. I think, I mean, I don't remember it in full detail, but I think I've remembered enough where I think I can like ease on into Tron Ares. We'll just have to wait and see. Or I might go into the movie theater and say, I have no idea what they're talking about. Let me go back and watch Tron Legacy. That's a very good point. I don't know. As I said, that's my opinion. I'm just going to go right in for Tron Ares. But I mean, I could see your point as to why you would want to see Tron Legacy again, if it's been that long. I think it's on. Honestly, I think it's been that long for me too, if I'm not mistaken. But Lucas said, yeah, you could technically skip it. Yeah. And then Remy D confirms, yeah, Blade Runner. Let's see. Is it bad for me to confuse Tron Legacy with Blade to 2049? I mean, they kind of, they have that kind of like similarities. See, imagine Tron Ares leading to Blade Runner. That'd be interesting. See, how about this idea for a Simpsons ride, a Flight of Passage style that is like Simpsons hit and run video game where you get in the car and go around iconic spots in The Simpsons, like the power plant. I mean, yeah, I mean, if they can come up with something very creative like that, I say go for it. And honestly, Brian, you mentioned Simpsons Hit and Run. I loved Simpsons Hit and Run. That was like the kind of like the Kitty Don version of like Grand Theft Auto. I was addicted to that game. That and Simpsons Road Rage, because literally that's another. I feel like Simpsons Hit and Run for me felt like Grand Theft Auto when I would do the missions. Simpsons Road Rage felt like where I was just walking around creating havoc, putting in the cheat codes for the military tanks and everything like that. But I used to play Road Rage and Hit and Run like nobody's business. I absolutely loved those games. I miss them. Let's see. Secret Wars wouldn't change the title because the comic series actually has the title. And for me, I'm not too big on comics in general, so yeah, I wouldn't have known that. So they probably will keep it, but just as a hypothetical, thing for one's own, personal thing, if you could change it, what would you change it to? And we got Kiki and Luca in the house. What's up, Kiki and Luca? Welcome in. Always glad to see you. Let's see. Remy D. I don't mean streaming subscriptions. I meant movie theater subscriptions. Oh, like AMC. Yes, absolutely. I actually have that. I have Abby and I both have that with the AMC Stubs A list. Yeah, we definitely have. Yeah, it's about like 26, 27, even 28. I think it went up a couple dollars. So yeah, okay. And I was going to actually ask that, and I'm glad you brought that up because every time we book a movie, so that doesn't count toward the box office as a full ticket. That's very interesting. Huh. And see, for me and Abby, we go and see movies a lot, like a lot. So I mean, that AMC A list thing really does help. But yeah, I could. Okay, so it doesn't count towards the initial box office. Hmm. Let's see. I love watching movies in the theater. Watching your TV at home just isn't the same. A list is so worth it. Love the popcorn too. I completely agree, Kiki and Luca. As I said, that's why we have the AMC, because we go to the movies a lot. Here's the thing. I love the movie going experience. I know people say, and I'm sorry, OG's one of them, that like you get disruptions of kids and everything. As far as I don't ever recall ever having a disruption from a kid, or teenagers or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe it's the area location, maybe it's the theater chain, but I've never had a problem. I don't know what it is. I love going into the movie theater. You get that popcorn smell, you get the nachos, you get the, all that good stuff, and then you see a movie on a big screen where, yeah, at home you could always see a movie. You could watch it on replay, and I just feel like that people just don't go to the movies anymore. And again, too, I can understand because it does get expensive. It really does. But I mean, what really isn't expensive nowadays? So if you want to go to a theme park, it's going to be expensive. If you're going to go to a sports game, it's going to be expensive. If you're going to go to a concert event, it's going to be expensive. So no matter what you do, it's going to be expensive. So I just say if you enjoy it and you love it, go for it. Let's see. Let's see. Almost all the Universal screen rides give me motion sickness. The worst are the Harry Potter and the Despicable Me rides. A lot of it does for a lot of people. Kiki and Luca. Abby's one of them. She can't go on Transformers. It makes her sick. Actually, I think she went on Forbidden Journey one time with me. I can't remember, but that's another ride she gets sick with. Yeah, I do hope that in time Universal can kind of get out of the notion of like fully screen base. Because yeah, it could definitely make you sick. Let's see. Lucas says popcorn smell. I always smell people peeing on the chair because they don't want to miss the scene. Is that really true? Like, do people really they pee on the chairs just to not miss it? Wow, that's interesting. Let's see, Kiki and Luca. I never had anyone bother me, but we always sit on the reclining chairs and try not to sit by anyone. Yeah, I'm this kind of the same way too. Like I feel I like to be dead center, like in the middle, and a little bit further back because I don't like to be real close to the screen. But if we can kind of get like our own little section where no one's around, then yeah, then we could. Now for like high end movies like Zootopia to Avatar, Fire and Ash, even for Avengers Doomsday, I'm for sure possibly every seat's going to be filled, so I'm not going to be able to kind of get away from that. Because I usually go opening weekend for a lot of like the bigger, higher end movies. Let's see. No, we bring an empty bottle in and load our Mountain Dew in it. So they really do. Wow, that's crazy. I don't know. I don't think I've ever experienced that, where people actually like urinate on the chairs just to not miss the movie. Thing. I mean, I personally wouldn't do that, but I mean, I guess if you're paying over $100, you don't want to miss anything out. So I always say, drink your liquids wisely and make sure you go to the restroom before watching the movie. That's what I always say. That's what I always do. So, especially for those longer. Now, here's the thing with Avatar, Fire and Ash being 3 hours. I mean, that's going to be a tough one because, as I said, I hate walking out of a movie while it's going on because I hate missing anything. Because it's always just that unknown factor of what am I missing? What did I miss something that was important and I'm like that with any movie. So I'm definitely going to have to go probably maybe like one last time during the previews. Unless there's anything good on the previews, I don't know, but just to kind of hold myself for the 3 hours for sure. Let's see. There's an app called Run P. It tells you all the P times for each movie. That, you know what, Remy D, you should actually run with that and actually have that app created because that's genius. Let's see. Kiki and Luca, what's your plan for the week, George? Nice question, Kiki and Luca. So, yeah, I was kind of like mentioning it like throughout the live, but I'll just kind of like recap it. So, on tomorrow, I'm going to see the BTS concert in theaters. Like it's the concert like in theaters, like how Taylor Swift did the Eras tour. I'm going to do that tomorrow. On the 3rd, we're going to see Avatar: Way of Water in 3D. Just to kind of, it's kind of a tradition for me with Avatar because I did that. I saw the first Avatar again in theaters before seeing Way of Water. So I'm just going to do it again, see Way of Water before seeing Fire and Ash. And then on the 4th, Abby and I are going to go see Casper, the 1995 Casper. It's 30th anniversary, and it's coming back to the big screen. So I'm looking forward to that because that takes me back to my childhood. I love Casper. Let's see. Then on the 6th, Abby and I are going to Disneyland. We're going to film me trying some pumpkin and pumpkin spice items because I'm not a pumpkin flavor type of person. So, going to do a video for you guys on that. And then on the 9th, what did I say? It was Tron Ares. We're going to go see Tron Ares on the 9th. On October 10th, going to HHN. Yeah, so just a lot of stuff. Literally, October is very, very busy. Oh, and then we're also going to go to a Lakers game on the 17th, I think it is. Going to see Spirit Away on the 18th. On October 14th, we're going to go see the Ducks, the Anaheim Ducks, play the Pittsburgh Penguins hockey game. So yeah, so definitely got a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff that we're doing. So yeah, so October is a very busy month, very busy month. Let's see. They usually pick moments they don't move the plot or mindless action. Let's see, and then Mademoiselle said yes, BTS. Let's see. And Sean Narani in the house. Welcome in. Casper is an underrated gem. Absolutely. It really is. I absolutely love that movie. As I said, it takes me back to my childhood. And also, because Abby and I had, we were talking about, I think I was singing the song, like, sugar, oh honey, honey. So I was singing that, and then she said, "You know what movie that reminds me of?" And I thought that she would never know this movie, and I said, "Now and Then," and she said, "Yeah," like, oh, she said it. I'm sorry, she said "Now and Then." I was like, I was going to say that, but I didn't think you would know that movie, and and yeah, so we were talking about the movie Now and Then, and Christina Ricci is in that movie along with Devon Sawa. So I think if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, and they both share an on-screen kiss. And I said, that's not the only time that they both shared that on-screen kiss. And she said, "Yeah, I know. They shared it again in Casper." And I was like, okay, I thought I was the only one who knew that, but okay. Let's see. Oh, this is going down some dark territory, Remy D. Let's see. Kobe over LeBron, agree. Yeah, actually, in all seriousness, I do actually agree with you. I think Kobe was, I don't know, just something about him was just like heightened over. Kobe reminded me of like the next generation Michael Jordan, to be honest. I know a lot of people said that about LeBron, which again, I have no problem with LeBron, but I don't know, just something about Kobe. He was just special in that way. Let's see, Kiki and Luca, what's your favorite movie of all time? Oh boy. Okay, so I've had people ask me this before, Kiki and Luca, and here's the thing. I don't know if I just have like one favorite base movie that can like surpass them all, but I will give you a handful of some of my all-time favorite movies. The animated Beauty and the Beast, hands down. Goodfellas, my favorite gangster movie. I actually, believe it or not, I prefer it over The Godfather. I do love The Godfather, don't get me wrong, particularly Godfather Part 2. But Goodfellas is like top notch. I'd say Goodfellas and Godfather Part 2. That actually falls into that same category. Jaws, one of my all-time favorite movies. Trying to think. I mean, there's a lot more for many different reasons, but at the top of my head, those are the ones. 12 Angry Men, absolutely love 12 Angry Men. Alfred Hitchcock's original Rear Window, with Jimmy Stewart, absolutely love it. Billy Wilder's Some Like It Hot with with Marilyn Monroe, Jack Lemmon, and Tony Curtis. Uh, trying to think, trying to go through like the many different uh, like decades of movies. Um, yeah, there's a lot of movies, but yeah, I can't just pick just one. Um, but I will say, as time goes on, like obviously, like I'm definitely going to see Zootopia 2, going to see, Avatar: Fire and Ash and everything. But I'm starting to see there's very few movies in between that come out and that they really are like, wow, that like really captivated me to call that a classic. I don't really know if movies really do that anymore of how like they used to. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I tripping? Like, what do you think? See, Remy D, I gotta say, there really is a steep decline of Epic Universe content on YouTube. I know it's partly due to no annual passes, but the hype really died down. It really did. I feel like it was the normal hype though. I feel like with a lot of what the fandom was trying to push Epic Universe to be, it they kind of put it on this high grand pedestal when really it was never going to be. And I feel like that's where it seems like it became uh, underwhelming just because of how well it was like hyped up to everybody. I see. Kobe stayed with one team. LeBron moved around a lot, which diminished his legacy. Yeah, I could agree with that. And Sean Ryan, Michael Jordan is still the GOAT. Yeah, absolutely. And Kobe loved Disneyland too. Yes, he absolutely did. Um, yeah, I think she's not here to correct me, but Abby, I believe, knows someone who knows the family because they went to um, the baby shower of Kobe's wife when she was pregnant. So I thought that was really cool. Let's see. Kiki and Luca, Some Like It Hot was filmed at the Del Coronado in San Diego. You should take Abby to the Del and have lunch. Oh, that okay. So again, I didn't know all this, but man, I would love to like do that because just the fact of like being like enriched in like a piece of cinema history, especially a movie as classic as Some Like It Hot, that would be cool. I wouldn't mind doing that. The Del Coronado in San Diego. I'll remember that, Kiki and Luca. Thank you. Let's see, Remy D. What type of theme park YouTube content bores you? For me, HHN merchandise. Ooh, that's a good question. Well, Remy D, I hope you enjoyed. If you didn't watch my HHN vlog, I hope that was a little bit entertaining. If you didn't already check it out, definitely give it a look. Um, but hey, to one's own, I could see. I feel like when here's the thing. I feel like when all of us content creators do the same exact thing at the same time in the same format, it gets monotonous. It gets boring. Because it's like you just have to pick one. It's like, okay, well, I don't have to watch anybody else because basically I just watched it. Um, yeah, I would have to agree with you, Remedy. I think one of my top like boring kind of thing is merchandise. Um, that's why like I film some of it, like just to kind of show you guys like what's available, but I won't do like a full video on it because if it's something that I don't really care to watch, I'm not gonna like bore you guys with like that, that kind of stuff. And honestly, I appreciate everyone's opinion, everyone's thought process. If you have constructive criticism, if there's something that I put in a video and you say, you know what, don't really need to watch it, let me know. I'll take it into consideration, or maybe next time put this in. I'm all ears. I'm just like Dumbo. I'm all ears. But in any case, I want to thank you all for joining me today on this Hollow Gelato Live. It was a great conversation. I enjoyed every single one of you, Kiki and Luca, Remy D, Giant Peter, Adventure, Sean Arani, Matthew Murr. Um, let's see. Jason Hill, Lucas and Disney. Let's see. So I think there was Brian. I think there was enough people in here that I can kind of give like a shout out to. SD Drawings. David, Jacob Weller, Mr. Tech Bear, Johnny Ace, the sweet Mademoiselle, and I believe that is it. Yeah. So again, thank you all for joining this live. I have a great time with you guys. It's always a great time. I love getting on and nerding out with you guys and talking about all different stuff. And Kiki and Luca says almost to 4,000 subs. Yes, I am almost to 4,000. We are really close. And yeah, I appreciate for everyone to, share it out to family and friends as much as you can. Like, subscribe. I definitely appreciate all you guys. For all of you who are members of Holo Gelato, again, I greatly appreciate you. I hope you guys are enjoying the early access of videos, also exclusive member videos. I will be doing another member exclusive live where, as you guys voted, when Abby and I go to Disneyland, and we'll do this on a full day, I will do a member exclusive live that you guys get to pick our day. So as we're live, I'm going to ask you guys, okay, where do you want us to go to eat? What do you want us to ride? And we'll literally all do it in real time. So that's going to be exclusively to members. So yeah, so a lot of great stuff on the horizon and even more content coming out just for the channel itself. Have to do really quick my little plug. I am an affiliate with the Magic Candle Company. For all of you who have not been to the parks lately but is missing that Disney magic, go on to magiccandlecompany.com and use my promo code shown down below, Citrico15, upon checkout, and you'll get 15% off your entire order. And that's not just a one-time deal, folks. That is every single time you make a purchase with magiccandlecompany.com, use my promo code Citrico15 for 15% off. And yeah, so again, I want to thank you all for joining me on this live of Holo Gelato. I'm George, the Disney Italiano. And as I always say, in Disney Italiano fashion, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Disney. Italiano out.